Good morning, Jeff. That was just a terrific summary. And compliments to the MPA, not just for hosting the event, but for a really innovative format this year. It's just terrific and a great opportunity to share some thoughts and experiences around this emerging market. As some of you know, Hearst is a large international media and information company. I work for the magazine group, which consists of 20 major U.S. titles: Elle, Good Housekeeping, Esquire, Food Network Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, Cosmo, Car and Driver, the list goes on. But these are very large consumer franchises. We've got a couple dozen websites. And our portfolio in the U.S. also includes CDS Global, also deep into the digital e-edition space, and iCrossing, a leading digital marketing agency. And beyond those things, we have a very, very large international portfolio. Today, all of our 20 U.S. brands, and really from the launch of the Nook and the iPad, all of them have been available in e-form from the beginning, with the digital versions now sold on all 6 of the major storefront platforms, and a growing number of smaller and emerging sites. And happily, I'm here to share that the e-edition business for us is now a multi-million-dollar line of business and, in fact, is profitable. So my comments this morning come from the perspective of being a content creator, a consumer marketer, and one that has P&L accountability for the whole kit and caboodle. I'm hugely bullish on this emerging space. The initial dynamics suggest e-magazines may be the single greatest opportunity publishers have to reignite growth, consumer and advertising revenue growth that the industry enjoyed from the 1950s to the peak in 2007. This is a big one. And our enthusiasm is underpinned both by the velocity and scale of tablet adoption. These initial results for tablet adoption are beating broadband and smartphone use relative to their introductions and growth curves. This graph is likely familiar. It's the only chart that I'm going to show, so relax. Charting U.S. growth in tablets is in the blue bars, and measuring on the right scale the percentage of the entire U.S. population the use represents. So this year, SNL Kagan estimates 89 million tablets will be in use by almost 1/3 of the entire population, or 90 million people. By any definition, a huge market and a huge opportunity for publishers to create another channel of sale for our content. And this isn't just about replicating the current economics underpinning print. If we do things thoughtfully and with an eye to the larger prize, tablets and e-versions of our magazines offer a chance, I believe, to fundamentally strengthen the traditional magazine model. Our experience to date in selling e-editions convinces us that we can generate higher revenue per subscriber than the typical print edition, and the cost of acquisition is actually lower, principally because the selling process uses digital mechanisms versus analog tools. Obviously, e-editions displace a portion of the paper printing and delivery costs, but production is by no means free. We have dozens of staff and are increasingly creating additional and original content for the tablet versions of our magazines. One of the great advantages of the tablet storefronts for consumers and for us is the relatively small amount of friction in the buying process. On many storefronts, it's tap and done, eliminating most of the hoops that we put a print subscriber through to consume our product. And ultimately, the promise of data, more data, uniform data, and more timely data will validate for advertisers the premium nature of the e-magazine reader. These consumers are as deeply engaged in e-editions as they are in print. We see consistently high open rates, very high open rates. Our e-readers on average are using the monthly issue 3 to 4 times during the month. They're returning to it. And on average across our 20 titles, they're spending north of 70 minutes, close to 75 minutes per issue. This is a highly engaged audience. And And to give some sense of dimensionality and opportunity, today, as I said, there are 89 million tablet users. If 1 out of 3 of those folks purchased one subscription, we'd add close to $600 million in gross revenue to magazines. We may not sell collectively 29 million subs this year, but we are going to sell 29 million subs in the not-too-distant future if we do the right things. And I'm going to reference this morning what I see as 4 key objectives. The first and most important thing that we can do today, right now, is to unambiguously reestablish a fair value for our content with consumers. Selling print subscriptions at $7.99 for a year's worth of issues is a mistake that we should avoid at all costs in this new channel. A magazine subscription needs to be valued at more than the cost of 2 venti cappuccinos. We only need to look at publishers' economics on the free web or our brethren in the newspaper business if we need some steel in the spine on this issue. And we need to do the reset now, at the outset of the market, when expectations are still fluid. For Hearst, a $19.99 annual subscription or a $4.99 single copy in the e-environment is a start at fair value. We're approaching 900,000 paying customers a month who've agreed that it is a fair value. But we're sometimes asked why an e-edition should be priced higher than print. And it's a fair question. And the answer is simple. Our e-editions are delivered first before the print goes on sale. And we're increasingly adding more content going beyond the printed page. We're also including video and audio and interactive features. And we're accelerating that process across the portfolio. In an e-edition, a consumer has the ability to complete the impulse that our editors so brilliantly create, to make a purchase, to learn more, to share with a friend or connect with like-minded readers, and to do those things instantaneously. Our customers also tell us that they absolutely love the ability to archive content. And finally, if we don't put a fair price on the product, we won't have a business able to innovate and create even better and richer experiences downstream. After fair value, we need to be creating a more transparent ecosystem as an industry by accelerating development of shared approaches, nomenclature, and metrics to spur development of the magazine marketplace and to make it easier for every publisher to create content once and seamlessly distribute it to multiple storefronts and devices and readers. We would be well served to support an open file format. At Hearst, we're platform agnostic, and we believe you need to be everywhere the consumer is, irrespective of form factor, device, or operating system. As a consequence, today, we're creating more than 120 separate editions a month to support and deliver our 20 titles to the 6 major storefronts. This eats up valuable resources, complicates the opportunity for advertisers, and ultimately results in an inconsistent brand experience across devices. Idea Alliance, a nonprofit organization with deep roots in the publishing space and whose members include dozens of publishers, tech and software companies, and other players in the media value chain, is the logical organization to host this effort. We think this is a perfect forum to develop open tools and open formats for the creation of e-editions. And to build an advertising business in the tablet space, we need common agreement on what and how we'll measure consumer engagement. The MPA is playing a critical role in this arena, brokering discussions among publishers and agencies and advertisers. We heard this morning the AAM is also advancing the discussion, bringing the imprimatur of verification and audit to publisher results, adding ultimately confidence that advertisers are indeed receiving what they pay for. We also need the storefronts to improve the quality and timeliness of the data that they're providing to publishers. Our own CDS Global has stepped into this breach and now offers a service that interfaces between the storefronts, collects and normalizes all the transaction data a publisher has, and then frankly untangles the monthly Gordian knot of reporting. To avoid the prolonged Wild West of the web at its inception, our key associations and industry organizations need to be closely coordinating with one another, and we need to be supporting them. The third imperative, I think, for publishers is honing our own marketing skills and going beyond the hugely productive, but ultimately beyond our control, storefront. It also is an increasingly crowded place. I saw stats last week where there are almost 1,397 to be precise, titles available in e-form. It's easy to get lost in that clutter, and we need to find a way out. For Hearst, the Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, NIM, and Zinio stores have been hugely important in helping us grow, and we value those relationships tremendously. But to achieve the scale that we're aiming for and believe is possible, we need to bring to bear the same direct marketing focus that fuels our 25 million monthly print subscriptions in the hunt for new e-edition customers. And we need to aggressively engage and nurture those e-customers who do subscribe. The most immediate hurdle is linking the consumer to the type of tablet they own in order to promote the right version of the magazine and make a sale. The second major issue is trackable data to actually determine the cause and effect of marketing activity. Given the limited reporting capabilities of storefronts today, we're often left guessing what the impact is of a particular initiative or campaign. And finally, and not for this morning, there is the emerging challenge, a good one, of consumer retention. Once you've sold them a monthly or annual subscription, how do you keep them? Our very early renewal data across the almost million customers shows annual subs typically renewing at a rate 10 to 15 points higher than traditionally sold direct mail sourced subs. And that bodes very, very well for our business. I'm going to share a couple of promising examples of how we're attempting to engage and market beyond the storefront. One of our most productive sources is the simple but very powerful home screen takeover. I know many of you are using this technique. We're leveraging the growing mobile traffic to our websites. We sniff and intercept those customers using their tablets on the way to our websites. And with a full screen ad, we encourage them to enjoy the brand's current e-issue and facilitate the purchase. This source is now generating more than 10,000 net paid orders a month, and it's growing rapidly. Increasingly, we're using targeted email to known digital subscribers. Those customers who've subscribed and agreed to share their data with us, we're alerting them to new issues, cross-selling them other titles they might be interested in, and generally working to reinforce the relationship with the brand. We're also targeting tablet responders, folks that have previously opened a Hearst sent email or newsletter or renewal notice or bill on their tablet. We detect this and then build segments based on the behavior. We now have more than 1 million email addresses separate from those folks that have already purchased. And this is a wonderful pool from which to sell additional e-editions. We're engaged in extensive testing using news feed posts on our brand's Facebook and Twitter pages. All of our messaging, in addition to being in the brand's voice, offers something of value and contains a call to action and a link to purchase an e-edition. I'm extremely excited by the response that we're seeing using Facebook. Very, very high engagement rates, and we're now in the process of tracking actual conversion to purchase, but a very promising new source. In addition to our own posts, some of our storefront partners are also posting issue-specific comments on their pages, which in turn we're reposting. Again, this activity helps to raise awareness and ultimately leads to sale. Within the Apple environment, like most of you, we've built our own app shell and reader. As many of you know, Apple requires that we promote the magazine app as free. And once a consumer downloads it, then finds that we're going to charge them for access to the e-edition content. And frankly, that can make for a disappointing experience. While Apple is our largest source of subscriptions, we do lose prospective customers because of this approach. To improve the conversion from download to paid subscriber, we've introduced this week 2 new features. Within our shell, our Apple shell, on your initial download to the app, which is in the far left frame, you'll now be presented with an unambiguous free preview, that's the middle frame, and the prospective customer can click through and have a wonderful experience. We're experimenting with a number of formats, from custom, highly interactive samplers, as is the case here with Cosmo, to a free back issue, as well as a best of brand compilation of content that showcases the brand and hopefully entices the consumer to purchase a subscription. These free previews are laced with carefully crafted subscription promotions and in-app purchase facility. We think this is a wonderful way to showcase our content and ease the path between the free app download and the paid purchase. And it's now been deployed across all of our 20 brands in the Apple Store. Also, within the Apple shell, we've developed and are rolling out starting today, later this afternoon with Cosmo and Pop Mechanics and across the rest of the portfolio over the coming days, a special What's New live content feed from each brand's respective website. This is an effort to up the engagement level. It's been talked about this morning, and it further showcases our content, as well as giving us a great forum to promote upcoming stories and features. This capability pulls the 8 to 10 most recently posted web stories, slideshows, or video content automatically from the site to the shell and reformats it into a tablet-friendly, Flipboard-esque presentation for the reader. The frame on the left shows the Cosmo What's New live feed. If you tap on the Miley Cyrus story in the upper left, it takes you to a full-page presentation of the article. And after every third or fourth page, you'll be presented with a subscription promotion and the ability to purchase. The fourth and last objective that I hope we rally around is the need for constant experimentation. We see that in a wonderful way this morning. E-magazines, if thoughtfully conceived and executed, have the ability to take the very essence of what does make a magazine unique: its portability, its affordability, the high-fidelity impact of graphics, and stunning photography made all the more vivid by a backlit presentation, and wrap it in what magazines do like no other medium. They facilitate discovery, the unexpected, the unsearched for experience. If done well, we end up surprising and delighting the reader, and along the way, we make a very good business for ourselves. I'm struck, though, by how analogous our present place is relative to the dawn of television in the 1950s. What was the first TV programming? It was radio personalities reading scripts on air, literally. It was folks standing around reading scripts as they did on radio, and it was being broadcast in television. With e-magazines, we've taken the print format almost verbatim and plunked it into the tablet. This isn't wrong, and we shouldn't be embarrassed by it, but we shouldn't be satisfied either that we have somehow created the optimal experience. This will only come with experience, learning, and a willingness to evolve and break convention. And to succeed over the longer run, we're going to need to do just that. What's coming in terms of operating systems, new devices, and form factors is going to mushroom and blow our socks off. To be sure, we as publishers get to fully participate and capitalize on that growth, and to help accelerate it, we need to command a fair value for our products. We should work today on common shared formats, timely metrics, and standards. And above all, we need to be committed to evolving our magazines and to taking full advantage of everything that a swipe-enabled touchscreen affords today and down the road. Thanks very much.